Hi guys! Welcome back. It's been a while, right? Thanks for dropping by on my channel. If this is your first time to be here, please choose subscribe, and if you wish to be notified of well-thought topics, just click the bell button at the right lower corner. Today's video intends to impart how to make minutes of the meeting, my experience as a minute taker, including hit and miss in first time recording. This is just a 15-minute video, so let's start and don't skip even a bit. Points of discussions we'll go through: first, the purpose of writing minutes of the meeting. Next, what does it take to be a minute recorder or being a secretary? And then the do's and don'ts of writing minutes of the meeting, including before and after the meeting. I will also be integrating common verbs used in writing minutes, sample format, sample discussions, and actions. Now, what is the purpose? Why should an organization need minutes of the meeting? How important it is? Minutes of the meetings are a formal record of discussions, recommendations, decisions, and actions taken that are presumed valid to be a reliable record on file. It can be utilized as legal evidence of the matters to discuss and as future references that the organization may review in case of clarifications over matters in the past related to the present, and to track progress if may seem necessary. But minutes becomes official only when it's already approved by the presiding officer, signed by the secretary, and by the members. Then, what does it take to be a good minutes recorder or being a secretary? Minutes taking requires you to be effective, mindful, well-organized, professional, and have written communication skills. If you are chosen to be a secretary or minutes recorder, that means that you are capable of doing so. Bear in mind that appointments are intertwined with the words trust and responsibility. Being effective is the entirety of having the necessary abilities for the task. And even as your first time, you are expected to learn and accomplish the task. Your interest in learning new things will befit you to carry out positive outcomes. Being a minute taker requires concentration and be all ears to record important points of discussions, dates, actions taken, and attendance participation in the meeting proceedings. And then leave other things in mind before you enter the venue. Bear in mind that it will be hard to recall and sort things that you miss out when distracted. That accurate details can only be obtained as you hear them, because you heard it by your ears at the very moment of the proceedings. Well-organized writing output springs from an organized mindset. Review the agenda of the meeting, including the previous minutes. Also, master the sequence of the meeting as listed in your writing format or on your draft. And then, know or anticipate the participation of each person in the discussion. Those are clues to remember to be on track. Talking about professionalism is possessing a proper demeanor in writing and in communicating with the members. In the context of writing minutes, is to be reliable, being ethical in a way that you can be trusted and maintain confidentiality of matters. And lastly, the way the minutes are done should be unbiased. On the other hand, a writing skill is greatly influenced and interconnected with other qualities mentioned, like being well-organized, mindful, and professional. And being effective, taking from its general definition, is to accomplish the desired output that is expected from you. But for me, An effective minutes recorder is someone who can take accurate details and important points of the discussion in a clear and concise manner. So that is what it takes to be a secretary or a minute recorder. Did you learn well? Here are some other helpful tips. The minutes is the actual record of the conversation. It's not a full transcription of the meeting proceedings. It should be recorded clearly in specific words. Minutes of the meeting are formal writing, so don't choose colloquial language or flowery terms. It's not to showcase creativity as well. Consider appropriate jargon to make it specific, shorter, and more effective for everyone's understanding. Don't make assumptions about matters unclear and never your opinion. Asking for clarifications is the right thing to do. One of the mistakes I made in my first time recording was the use of I and we, while it should be written in the third person. Mention the names and positions, including titles of the speakers and the matters they raise, like Dr. Santos, VP Reyes. Should there be motions to vote that take place by the presiding officer, then record it as well as what has been decided by the group that passed your votes. Be ethical. Don't record unpleasant conversations in case they arise unexpectedly. This is common sense. Audio or video recording of meetings can also be done, but verbal or written approval must be obtained because recording without permission is illegal. And be truthful for deleting it once the minutes are already outlined. In my experience, I had never tried using audio or video recording either. I prefer working on it on my laptop and sometimes on paper, because a piece of paper is much easier to tear and less burden. And when you leave, you'll only be taking a summary and the rest should be left behind and disregarded. Now let's go through the common verbs used in the minutes of the meeting that comes in the past tense. Appropriate verbs marks your direction in writing. Of course, use the verb reiterated if there was a matter reiterated. Use the verb explained when there was something explained. Use suggested if matters were suggested so. These are the most common verbs used in making minutes. You can use any of these accordingly. And keep in mind, appropriate verb tenses must still apply. Before the meeting, the secretary ensures that the notice of the meeting with the agenda is given to all the members with a receiving copy signed by them. Also, review the agenda with the presiding officer. Things to do after the meeting are to create a draft of the minutes, proofread it before bringing to the presiding officer for approval. Once approved, send out copies to all the members involved as soon as possible. Make sure to give everyone a copy with their signature on the receiving copy. And lastly, keep a record on file, preferably the receiving copy signed by everyone, usually in a file folder depending on the organization's filing standard and timekeeping. Here is the sample format, which is, I guess, common. Block format outline can make the minutes of the meeting neat and simple appearance. And because you are writing an official written record of the meeting, date and time are necessary. Then proceed to roll call. Include names of members present, can be written like this, likewise those absent. It can be of 4 parts, but you can include good news before proceeding to the highlights of the meeting. And by the way, you can use either highlights or agenda. The secretary can read the minutes as formally requested by the presider, then formally proceeding to new business and other matters. Adjournment of the meeting is also officially declared by the presider. Now let's have sample discussions and actions starting from the highlights of the meeting. It can be stated like this. The President mentioned to the group the plan for PACOCOA accreditation application to evaluate the institution's quality standards and to strengthen and maintain its capabilities and competence in different educational operations. Action for the group to conduct internal assessment. On 1.2, the VP suggested meetings to take place every second Friday of the month. If there are still additional agendas, for instance, continue, and if there are to be written as follows, use bullets. Reading from the previous minutes can be written like this. On 2.1, correction points from the previous minutes. The VP for Academic Affairs and Research plans to build a research culture in the institution of 2.2 of the previous meeting. The group agreed on the involvement of both faculty and students to enhance their research capabilities. It was suggested by the Dean to conduct curriculum mapping to address academic gaps and misalignments of 2.3 of the previous meeting. Recommendations to conduct curriculum review at the end of the second semester and for the VP for Academic Affairs and Research to prepare curriculum review tools checklist. If there are already accomplishments done from the previous meetings, you may include them. Moreover, new business can also be outlined like this. 3.1 The President congratulated the College of Education for the successful student-to-research presentations. 3.2 The calendar of activities for February was presented by the program chair. Highlights are the following. Submission of OBE, teacher's observation and evaluation, and upcoming school intramurals. Finally, other matters. 4.1 The President proposed the implementation of a quality management system to maintain quality teaching and learning and the entire school development. Next action for the BP and Deans to review the key result areas needed for improvement. 4.2 The VP for Academic Affairs and Research suggested establishing Quality Assurance Department to focus on quality management system. Thank you for watching. See you soon!